At MSU, we're always interested in doing shows that the audiences have told us that they want to see. And one of those shows is The Producers. For years, we've been waiting to get the royalties, the permission from the authors in order to do the show. And Mel Brooks, who's incredibly Jewish, made sure that we couldn't do it until he had milked every single penny out of it on Broadway. So it finally closed on Broadway, and we were able to get permission to do it, and we're thrilled. Mel Brooks is a crazy man. I've been madly in love with him, I confess, for several decades now, including that original movie back in the 60s with Zero Mostel and Gene Wilder. And that's one of those few movies that I sit there and watch, and even if I'm by myself, I laugh hysterically. My animals get very upset. They don't know what's going on. It was interesting that he turned this into a musical, and he actually went to several people and said, I want to turn this into a musical. Help me out. And they said, no, why don't you write the music yourself? And he did. The music is not the most stellar part of this particular show, but it's eminently hummable, it's very singable, and mostly it's a lot of fun. The Producers tells the story of a couple of guys, one shyster, and he self-identifies himself as a shyster, who comes up with this scheme. He's inspired by a kind of a milquetoast accountant, and the two of them come up with a scheme that if they do the world's worst musical, that they could actually make a lot of money. Of course, because they're fundamentally dishonest in a kind of naive, charming way, it turns out that they produce a show called Springtime for Hitler, and much to their surprise, it's not nearly as bad a flop as they were suspecting, and all kinds of interesting things ensue. The story itself talks about how these producers get this show together, and they have to find a playwright, they have to find a director, they have to find a cast, and this is hilarious. For those of us in the theater, it's very, very funny because Mel tells every kind of inside joke that you can possibly imagine. But even if you're not in the theater, the jokes are very, very accessible, and it's just hilarious as these guys try to put together this awful show. We have a wonderful show that talks about putting together an awful show, and we have some amazing talent in this particular show. Clayton Rutschow and Alex Coe are our two producers. Both of them are graduating BFA seniors. They're at their prime. Well, I guess maybe they're going to hit their prime in another 10 years, but they're at their collegiate prime. Both of them recently starred in our production of The Odyssey, which is going underneath the Producers as we get ready for the Kennedy Center, so that's going to be a riot. And then the rest of the cast is just stunning. Trey Searles, another graduating senior, plays the role of the director. We have Aaron Allen, who will be playing the role of the playwright, another graduating BFA musical theater senior. We have Adam Moen, who is not a senior. He's only a junior, so we'll have him around for another year. He's brilliant, though, as well. And the one lone female in the show is Laura Atremba, who is another junior. So we're constantly developing new talent. And actually, we have quite a few freshmen in this particular show as well. And it's great fun. There's a lot of dancing. Paul Finocchiaro and I are working on the show together. I'm the director. Paul is the choreographer. And we haven't done that for quite a while. It's been kind of fun to work with him in this particular extravaganza, and it is an extravaganza. Sets by John Paul, and there are lots of sets. Mel Brooks, even though this particular show was written in 2000, it's an old-fashioned show. It's an old-fashioned musical because that's what Mel Brooks grew up on, and so there's all of these wonderful references to shows like My Fair Lady or A Chorus Line, or just about every other show you can imagine is stuck in there somehow. Lighting design by Steve Smith. It will be brilliant as always. George Grubb is doing our sound design, and Nick Wayne is our musical director. So it's just going to be a wonderful show, and we can't wait for you to see it. Now, just a warning, we have canceled two of our matinee, our two final matinee performances because Odyssey literally is being recreated underneath the Producers, and so we're going to be closing on that Saturday night, and then we on Sunday when we were going to close, instead we're doing a dress rehearsal for the Odyssey, and then the Odyssey will have one more performance on Monday, April the 18th, before we go to the Kennedy Center. On the 21st, we'll be performing in Washington, D.C., and we're hoping that all of you alum or friends of MSU out there will come and see us at the Kennedy Center. So, have fun. Hope to see you soon.